So we just saw your, would that be called a book trailer?
Yeah, our book promo video, which is out on our website right now, as well as on YouTube.
Well, that's wonderful. I want to tell everyone that we are participating in the 2020 virtual author fair held at the Rochester Hills Public Library and hosted with Rochester writers. My name is Michael Dwyer, and the author joining us now is Erik Bean. Erik, tell us about the video and the book.
Well, so I'm the co-author. The main author is Emily Wazak, and she and I had worked on several curriculum development books over the years, namely social media writing lesson plans. So my son passed away in the summer of 2018. He was 17 years old. He was diagnosed with autism. He had other diagnoses such as psychosis. For the most part, like a lot of other kids his age, if you spoke to him, you could carry on a great conversation with him. But yet his disease got the better of him. And it was about a year later, still trying to get on my feet somehow. And Emily and I would meet, as we often have as two writers. And we were thinking about doing my son's biography. And we thought that might take, way too long. And she said to me, how about we do a children's book? And I had never written a children's book. She had experience in that genre. And then she said to me, how about we write a children's book about mental health? And a rhyming one at that. And I thought, Emily, can we really do that? Can we really pull all of that together? And then over the summer of 2019, we brought in a wonderful, amazingly talented paper cutter illustrator named Gail Gorski, and then a friend of mine as well to help do the editing, Sherry Wexler. And together over the next 6 months, we came up with what we call the first children's mental health primer. And the topics of the book are basically those that we felt that my son Ethan had endured, mainly inclusion at school and problems with isolation associated with the internet. And that's how the book premise began to form.
Okay. Well, my condolences for your loss. It's got to be a tough thing to work through as a parent.
Yeah,
and I hope that
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, as a matter of fact, originally, the book project was one where, obviously it helped me get on my feet because I'm so passionate about books, having written several curriculum development books over the years and things like that. So, but I didn't want it to just be about me, in my own mental health. I wanted it to have a bigger message. And so that's why all four of us got together to really shape this book. And there just simply isn't anything out there as far as the contents of the book. If you look behind me, you can see that there's circles, and these circles are what we call the circles of influences. The train, which was my son's favorite mode of transportation, we called the 403 Express. And Michael, that 403 you see behind me, that was his birthday, April 3rd. And the circle of influences start off when we turn to the first page of the book. It's a picture book for children, K through grades 5. The train comes through the town and begins with family, and then it moves through friends, school, the community, faith, and of course the media as well, because all of those are the influences in our lives. And I often think of that very famous saying, "It takes a village to raise a child." And the purpose of the book is to remind everybody that we all have to do our part, and we have to let children know that they're not alone with their feelings on a day-to-day basis. And the book gives suggestions on who kids can talk to when they're feeling blue and isolated.
Well, I think it's important to certainly bring to light that children have incredible feelings. It's probably something that they're more in touch with before other things such as language and communication and opinions. And I know from my perspective, when I try to think back to when I was a child, I have a very tough time trying to remember my emotions and my feelings back then. So I think that it is a something we have to remind ourselves of, and how do we do that as an adult to understand feelings and emotions of children?
Well, so what we did is my wife is an LMSW, and Sherry Wexler, who's the editor of the book too. We kind of got together and we thought that it would be better if we showed children, supporting one another on the train ride. And so that effectively, is what we did. We showed different scenes of children helping each other. For example, if you look behind me now, you should be able to see those are the circle of influences. Behind me, this is the train itself. You can see it's very whimsical, very creative, all done on a paper. And so by the time the train pulls in and the first child comes on board, there are several children who come on board, and my daughter, my 22-year-old daughter, had named the children. And they gather around the train, they get ready for the exciting train ride, and then they share with each other some of their feelings. Some of them, look proud on the outside, but their feelings may say otherwise, on the inside. And so, here's an example of a child who plays basketball. Here's an example of a child who is happy one day, sad another day, and she may be experiencing initial symptoms of bipolar. But many psychologists, they don't like to label children at that age. It's very difficult to formulate a diagnosis. But we just wanted children to make sure that they understood that they weren't alone. Whether it's at school, on the playground, or if they're working on a math problem and they're struggling, that they have support. And they can learn to support one another too. And they shouldn't be ashamed of their feelings at all. And so we even, have one illustration where a young girl is unable to walk. She's wheelchair bound. and she'd like nothing more than to be able to play on the playground. And but with the help of her friends, she could at least feel that she got outside, she enjoyed the sunshine, and enjoyed the day. And the journey continues on. We've got a really good, diverse mix of passengers out to support each other. Some of the passengers are scared on the ride. This passenger needs some support. Here's a passenger, they're playing cards and they're being bullied, and they're learning how to ignore the bullies. And sometimes that's the best thing we need to do, is ignore the bullies. And then this scene, Michael, here is this is a young girl who she has ants in her pants. She can't stop moving around. She'd love to pay attention in the class, but she just doesn't know how to settle herself down. And so the kids, come to her rescue. And then this scene here, which Gail, the illustrator, did in her family room, she actually blew real bubbles. You could actually see the reflection of her windows in the bubbles there. This scene depicts some of the people that the kids can go and talk to. A police officer, a rabbi, a priest, a fireman, a counselor, a teacher, and they shouldn't be ashamed of their feelings. And they may not even know why they're happy or sad themselves. And so the book, takes the kids, through this journey, and also reminds them, talk to your mom or dad. If it's not tattling, but tell your mom or dad if there's a problem. If a friend is feeling blue, maybe they can help. And then the book takes a striking turn where it reaches a bump in the track. And this is the dark web. And we need to warn children what the dark web is, how parts of the internet, not all parts, the internet has a wonderful, wonderful opportunities for children, but it also has a dark side. And we need to warn them about that dark side. And this is the bump in the track. And not everything you read online is true. And so you need to work with a parent and understand, especially today, with all these algorithms that are out there that are serving up information. Sometimes the kids don't know what the truth is. And so, this is the overall lesson, that we need to get the entire community, all these train cars represent those circles of influence. And then by the time we reach the end of the story, we actually have the rules, that we want the kids to follow on the story. And that's what Ethan's Healthy Mind Express is all about. And this is a picture of my son that was taken really about 2 weeks prior to his death in August of 2018, when we had visited the Upper Peninsula.
It's an amazing picture. You look so happy and alive, and I think that it kind of closes off that whole segment that you just mentioned, is that we do have to have resources and places to go, as well, children and adults alike, to share our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions. And as an adult, I might not get it as much as an academic or a school teacher or someone that has more experience with it. But we all know that, and I love the train tracks going off with the bump about the dark web, is that, that's reminiscent of life, right? Life is amazing, yet there's scary parts, and emotions and feelings are amazing. There's some scary ones.
Well, that's it. Yeah. That's it. I mean, Michael, the bottom line is that, when I think of the advent of television in the 1950s and 60s, when we were putting the book together, some people had said to us, aren't the kids too young to learn about the dark web? Aren't they too young? And I did some research, and I found out that on the Mr. Rogers show in 1968, he did a whole episode devoted to the word assassination, the whole episode. And so I said to our team, I said, if Mr. Rogers on PBS can do a whole episode devoted to assassination, we can include a couple of pages in the book about the dark web, because kids have to know. When these kids, get on their cell phones, when they download a game, we don't know necessarily where that game comes from and what kind of information that game is tracking. And that's just one example of the dark web. Parents do their best. They want their kids to be safe. They, a lot of them might not even allow their kids to use a phone. That's great. But I've seen many children who are even in fourth and fifth grade who have access to a smartphone. And so we wanted to incorporate that into the book because
Well,
there's
it
nobody
sounds
out
like
there
you've
right
done a
now.
really nice job.
Yeah, there's not too many people out there right now. There's no required curriculum right now in the elementary schools for that, uh, to teach this stuff. So we hope
How
to get.
long?
Yeah.
How long has your book been out?
So it was published on November 23rd, 2019. What we did is we wanted it to correspond to National Suicide Survivors Day. And that was our goal. And so we published it and put it out on Amazon as a paperback, 8.5 by 8.5, as well as a Kindle version. And then in April of 2020, we came up with a beautiful 10 by 10, archive quality hardcover book. And we've also won several awards since then. We've won the Purple Dragon Children's Book Award. This is we were a finalist in 3 categories with the Purple Dragon, and that's presented by Story Monsters Inc., as well as an International Book Award for illustrations for the finalists in 2020 as well. So Publishers Weekly, their Book Life division, compared our book to 2 quite strikingly very famous books on depression, which are geared towards children and young people too. So we're very humbled that we're able to receive those accolades.
What kind of feedback are you getting from people that are reading the book and using the book right now?
Yeah, so parents as well as teachers really like the book. It's a really good tool to read with their children, and that's what we recommend. We recommend that a teacher or a parent read the book. Children absolutely love the illustrations. They're simply captivated by the illustrations right now. That's the message that we're getting, and so and some of the reviews out on Amazon, from a variety of different people who've purchased the book have indicated that their child has indicated it's one of their favorite books, and the parents themselves have indicated it's one of their favorite books to sit down with their children, because it is such a a very important topic. And so right now, the pandemic, like all things, got in the way. We wanted to get mass distribution across the country through Baker and Taylor. Our book is sitting somewhere on their New York office. We haven't been able to get through there, but yet it is widely available. I will, as well as Emily, we're scheduled to present at the Jewish Book Fair. We're one of the pre-book fair workshops, if you will. It's going to be a webinar for on November 30th, the evening before it actually begins, and we'll be there speaking with a psychologist about how the book came together as well. So we're getting some mileage. We're very grateful. The Rochester Book Fair has come along, and we're waiting to see. I like to think in my heart that my son is driving this whole show, because I don't think I would have ever have co-authored a children's book, if Ethan never passed away. And quite frankly, in the last 3 weeks, I did a career change. I used to be in higher education, and I somehow got a very good opportunity, and I'm now an elementary school teacher. And so I don't know if that's my son telling me to try to help more children or not, but I'm going with the flow right now and just seeing where it all goes.
Well, that's wonderful, and I wish you the best of luck. Do you want to close with telling folks where they can go to get more information or to purchase the book?
Sure, sure. Well, the book is available on Amazon, .com. All you have to do is search for Ethan's Healthy Mind Express. You could also visit my son's, our foundation, our nonprofit website that we started a year ago at ethanbean.org. We also recently registered a brand new assumed name. And so you'll be able to use the URL healthymindexpress.org. But either way, you can get to it from ethanbean.org if you want to order the hardcover directly from us, and it goes to a good cause because it goes towards our foundation. And you can also get it on Amazon as well as the ebook, the Kindle version of it on Amazon as well.
Wonderful. So check out your website and all the usual places. The name of the book is Ethan's Healthy Mind Express, and co-authored by father of Ethan, Erik Bean. Erik, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to have more with more authors on the 2020 Author Fair.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael. Greatly appreciate it.